Samope, Sampa Dietia, Chimafidi non Kotu, Era One Radio. Samope, Jumpa Dietia, Chimafidi non Kotu, Era One Radio. Oh, and Yumpamtua, Chintu, Asam Pamtua. Era One, Yebo Lumpankwa.
Era One radio listeners, it's here for Mamwo Bencheni Enim Henya Yamuya Yumbre, Yamia Dumemria Shem said, Yesiawo, if it is so I check a crack. Dr. Penny, I'm in the age one, which I'm Hokakro to Quant if in our bench, Yamiadum. So anyway, this is the Era One radio studio. We are transmitting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Modern Ghana Radio. If you want to reach us, the number to call is 240-280-2633, and texting is 510-931-0946. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and radio, Modern Ghana Radio. We've been on the series for some time, but then I think we kind of took a vacation. And my partner in crime had to leave me for a vacation, so he's back. So we're going to continue with our discussion. And before we left, I think we're discussing the causes and effects of Lassa fever. But tonight, we are going to go back on one of the topics that we discussed theoretically concerning road signs, accidents, and whatnot. And by God's grace, my partner has had a first-hand experience of what it is to drive in Ghana, experience all the road hazards and everything. So tonight is going to be able to give us full details. And so, Dr. Pokwajima is my co-host. Doc, you are welcome. Akwaba.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Boyson.
All right, so as I said earlier on, we're going to go into a pragmatic view of what it means to drive on our roads, especially tonight. We're going to focus on Ghana since we've had a very good experience in what it means to drive over there. So we'll be going into that, and then I have a few questions that we're going to go into, and then we'll take it from. But then feel free to go in whichever direction you want to. We've talked extensively about road signs, symbols, and what it means to follow these directions and drive properly or carefully. So any driver who leaves a destination, one point or a source, can get to the destination and come back safely. Because in our country, we say driver papa ni or ne passengers are kon wasamba. In saying be a senior driving at Ghana. And fancy when we talk about the poor nature of the roads, what do we mean? And then with your experience, what can you tell us about that?
In any case, when you look at the roads in Ghana, particularly the cities, I will give a very good grade to Accra.
Okay.
Accra has a very good road patterns. Almost all the major streets are tarred. And the drainages are okay. During the day, it's difficult to drive in Accra as well because of traffic. And I'm wondering how these traffic problems will be resolved in Ghana, because they still keep the number of roads they have since 1960. No new road has been constructed or built in the cities. So that is one of the reasons why Accra, they have a lot of traffic. When you compare Accra to Kumasi, you see that Kumasi is really a village. Because Kumasi, most of the roads are not tight, very rough road. I think the major road that probably is partially done is Kumasi Abuakwa Road. And maybe I'll also consider UST Kajetia Road. Besides these two roads, all other roads are either under construction or partly constructed, or it doesn't appear a road worthy to drive on them, because a lot of congestions all over the places. When you look at Kumasi, when you are driving through, what do you call it, from Bekwai roundabout, it's not Bekwai roundabout, it's one roundabout towards Pokuwari Training School, Pokuwari Secondary School, across the other side to Kasi, the place they call Kasi or something. That road is so rough and so wretched that it is not easy to drive on. And I happened to get some problem when I was driving there. I drove all the way to another place that I drove was from Kumasi to Bantama to towards Offensive Road. Bantama, you have a road that leads towards Offensive Road. At that corner there, that road is also very bad. Cannot even drive on it. And there's one particular thing in Ghana which you cannot understand. Almost everybody wants to sell his clothing around the road. They pull all their things from their shop and align them on the road. And they have taken almost a quarter of the roads. So driving there, if you want to drive, if the road is 2 ways, you cannot drive 2 ways because half of the way have been taken by the traders. And nobody's caring about that. And
what accounts for that? What is the cost for that?
Nobody knows because people don't want to sit in their shops. They have rented a shop, they pay for it. I think they store the thing in there, and then during the day they will bring it out and assemble it along the roadside. For some reason why they are doing that, nobody's aware.
So technically, what you are saying is that with the wares being in the store, customers are not coming in directly, so they rather want to project it outside for those the drivers to see and buy.
That is what is going on there. That's what is going on there. So you see, almost when you go to Bantama, it's difficult to go on the road. And then when you move towards places like, I think Offensive Road, the main Offensive Road, because of the construction, they have pulled the traders far away, but they are still coming. And it makes it very difficult to drive. When you go to Tafu Road, Tafu is the same thing. The road has become so narrow, and then you see two cars, two-way cars, one going and one coming. And I'll tell you some story about the so-called Abuboya and Prakia and Okada that is running in the town, and they are all causing confusion.
This is a major problem because I realized that it is not something that began yesterday or last week. It's been there. It's been an age-old problem. And as to why the Minister of Education, I know said Papa was it is it Ajimai? There was a guy that was so wild that anytime people heard of him coming, they run away. And then when he leaves,
I think
when he leaves, they will come back. So it's a matter of, I think it's a mindset, discipline where these traders should be made aware, because when you go to other developed countries like US, Canada, Germany, you don't see people displaying their wares on the roadside. I mean, occasionally you see a few people selling flowers when it's Valentine's Day, but that is even an exception. But for people to leave their wares from the stores and to park them by the roadside so they can sell easily is very bad. And especially we have a lot of, the beggars too. I mean, it's all over the world, but some countries have more than necessary. And especially the parents even push their kids to run by the roadside, begging for money and all that stuff. Anyway, today what we thought of doing is to do a little bit of brainstorming. So we'll be hopping here and there. Now let's talk about the carelessness of the road users and the drivers themselves. I mean, is it still the same thing? People flaunting the road signs to say drivers need P signs. No, so no answer. I mean, I know say who drive around circle and I say KJT bumper to bumper. I mean, it's serious. I mean, your comments on that, since you have a first-hand experience.
Let me tell you something. I have seen that Ghana, the cities are poor because they don't want to use rules and laws in the country. If Kumasi or Accra, if they start levying or taxing people who are on wrong offenses in driving, they could generate money. Kumasi alone, I think if the city council is able to formulate laws governing how to park, how to drive, and where not to drive, and the way people drive, and the number of people that people drive, that the number of passengers in the car that they don't have to take. These few things alone can generate millions of cities for a city to develop further things in the country.
So what you're saying is that if violators are fined, that will generate more money.
They can generate a lot of money for the country, but nobody is caring about that.
And if they do, even if they pay, will the money go into the government's coffers?
No, you see, what is very important here is that if a bill is written and it becomes a law in the cities, there should be a way to take the money from them. Judges should not put them in jail, but they should fine them.
Okay.
If you drive carelessly and they get you, if you park somewhere and they get you, they give you a ticket to go there, you pay it. On the sports paying, they have what they call mobile money. If they send that thing to them, they will pay it easily.
Momo.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that if the government of the cities could enact some kind of bill and send it to the parliament for approval, for them to initiate rules in the cities, they will be able to reduce the congestion of cars in the city. One of them is this. So anybody can park car anywhere. You cannot even imagine that somebody parked a car in the center of the road and he was conversing with somebody, not thinking that somebody is behind him. This happened to me in some of the streets. Whilst I was driving with my wretched car, there were some people with some kind of beautiful cars in front of me. And for some reason, somebody saw I think a girlfriend or some gay woman. He stopped right in the middle of the road and started chatting with that person, not thinking that we are behind him.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to drive over there with that kind of attitude that people are showing there. But my point here is that I want to really emphasize this. Anyone who is listening to us in Ghana, I believe that driving offenses should attract fine. And I believe that if the government is able to initiate rules and laws with offenses, they will be able to generate money. And that money could even be used to build the roads that are spoiling.
Mm-hmm.
If the government is really serious, I'm talking about the city governments, if they are really serious, they should consider this thing critically, because I know that in the United States here, there are certain cities who can generate billions of dollars because of driving offenses. Even though they drive very well here, they are able to generate thousands and millions of dollars. But when you consider Kumasi, when you consider Accra, and then you look at Sunyani, how people drive over there, if they have driving offenses that attracts some kind of money, they can generate money. They can even generate money to pay all their workers and use the money that they have, the other taxes, to renominate the other places that they want to do. But if they are not paying it, if they are not considering this, and then they are losing money. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir. Well, tonight we are looking at road signs and regulations with a reflection on driving in Ghana with somebody who has just had a quick visit in the place and he knows what he's talking about and is trying to educate us. Of course, you know, you are on Health is Wealth Protected Show, the Era One version of our health, educational program. And in the hot seat is Dr. Enesopoku Ajuma, my co-host. We want to bring some education, some light to our drivers. This is a general education, but then, like I said, we are throwing more light on the aspect of the Ghana driving experience. And so that's why I put Dr. Opoku Ajuma in the seat to give us his experience whilst visiting. We're looking at how to prevent road accidents, what the causes are and how we can prevent them. And so one of the other factors we can look at is maybe faulty vehicles. Unfortunately, I think the duties at the port are so astronomical that people are not even able to import a lot of spare parts or even new cars to replace the older ones. So it's a matter of, because I know one political party or leader promised that when he comes to power, the tariffs and the duty paid at the port will be reduced, so people can bring in a lot of newer cars, so we can replace the old rickety vehicles on the roads. But it looks as if that is not the case. So we still have 40 cars on the road, cars that have do not have adequate maintenance. They don't even mind about their 5,000 or 3,000 oil change or inspections. I even wonder whether the MTTU actually look at roadworthiness of the vehicles being appropriate to even drive on the road. They don't even look at those. So when it comes to 40 vehicles, give us your perspective or experience. Cars and then can be whether even the are legal vehicles to plow our road, or what is the nature of the vehicles that have been allowed to ply our roads? I mean, picking up passengers and their roadworthiness.
Yeah, interestingly, I will just try to talk about roadworthiness and inspection cars. I think that the rule for inspect cars, I don't know whether it works in Ghana. As I've told you, that there are certain areas that the government can tap money without a concern of spending enough labor to get this money. The money is with the people. The people are not obeying the rules. Just find them, get them to the courts, find them. Don't put them in jail. If you put them in jail, we are spoiling them. Just find them and let them go back. You find them maybe 200 cities, 300 cities. You can get about 30, 40 people to find them every day, because they have a kind of behavior that it is not easy to be changed unless this kind of things come in.
Sure,
you were talking about roadworthiness. There are a lot of cars. Let me give you an example. When I was going to Accra, the sad story was that I counted about 5 big cars by the two-way road. All of them were damaged. And then I think one of them was the only car with a sign indicating that car has a problem along the road. The other ones, they were there, standing at the corner there, whilst the other roads are being used. So any car that is coming has to stop, make sure a car is coming, and then he has to pass the other one. Other than that, he may get head-to-head knock over there. One of the reasons why this thing is happening is that nobody is also inspecting them. It's the duty of the police to report any car that stays on the road for 24 hours. And then that car, if they don't remove it, they have to take it away. This is not working in the country. I remember that they had a tow cars which were supposed to have be doing this work, but nobody heard about these tow cars anymore. But the government should be very careful that these things are not going to create accidents, because there are a lot of accidents coming along the road. So if they don't take care of these spoiled cars that are hung by the roadsides, it is more likely that getting to the Christmas time, they're going to have a lot of accidents. And then another thing that I want us to look at is that the heavy cars, well-loaded articulators are all running at the same time with the passenger cars on the same road, possibly on the same speed. So it is sometimes very difficult for the passenger car to brake when it's meeting a heavy car. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of accidents are occurring in the highways in Ghana. You asked me a question about the worthiness of the cars. One of them is this. The second thing is that in the cities, who cares about any car driving? Unless if the car can move, they can go. If the car can move, then the person will hang it somewhere. But as long as I'm concerned, all the cars are driving and they drive to and fro in the city.
Oh, wow, that is a serious matter. But hey, Juan Rebecca. Well, I don't know whether Ghanaians are stressed. Well, it looks as if this is something that happens throughout the world, and with the economic structure that is in place, I believe that we can't underestimate the fact that almost everybody or any driver at all can be stressed. In your experience and in your conversation with drivers, I don't know whether you had any time to converse with drivers. As far as causing accidents is concerned, did you experience any stress drivers? Or you can tell that this guy is stressed and he's not supposed to be behind the wheels, but still they find themselves driving. Was it an issue that you experienced?
Yeah, I had a chance to interview about 2 people. And to be honest with you, they told me they have no license. But they were driving.
They were still driving.
They were still driving. The 2 of them. And I was like, how can you drive without a license? And he said, so when you meet them, you give them some money and that's all.
Are you referring to the cops?
Yes. He was referring to the cops.
You didn't say it.
They let you go. I said, what? So I was just like looking around.
Okay, Doc, hold on. They don't have it, or they have it and it's expired.
No, he has no license. He has. That is what. If he's lying, I am also lying because that's what he told me. You know, it's a kind of conversation. He didn't know that I was trying to investigate to know why he is driving. I said, well, okay, so where's your license that you used to drive? He said, I don't have license. I said, do you drive? So I drove from Accra. Sometimes I drove from Accra to Kumasi.
Wow.
And, you know, as long as I have some few CDs to give it to people on the way, my case will not go anywhere. And it's true.
Wow.
It's true. Because I went to a certain mechanic. You know, here, if you're a mechanic, you have a license. I went to a mechanic and I was talking to the mechanic guy. I said, look, I see you driving, trying to try some cars and other things. But, do you have a license to do that? He said, oh, I don't have a license. It takes long. He says it's going to take him some 6 months to get a license. So why should he bother going to? I said, look, take that 6 months and get your license. It saves you from a lot of troubles. He said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to use my money to put in the government this thing for 6 months. That's not what I'm going to do. That's okay. Anyway, that's the kind of education I can give it to you. So I just told him and I left him. So it is very difficult to pick those people. But I think the police and the city guys should be empowered to do that. If they are not empowered to do that, to check in those things, careless driving will not stop, because those who are driving, they are not licensed. They have not gone to driving school, and those are the people who are they are the one who create faults in the system and accidents.
Doc, I saw I can do me mashing me power. I'm really scared. You know what? Let me take a break. Let me go to the clinic. When I come back, we'll continue, because
me dindi acrobat. Me a businessman at the same time, so me sansu ye actor. Me nyata mpo en makwara sabia ekosi se dakro me ni me business for ehia ye meeting. Prekope me call off. Me wuru hwi bio. Me no te me no na me Banahin Specialist Hospital. Wow, emfidie ni machines ahodo na mu say yes hospital e bi di de biachi.
Me hu say mayo kakra nanka me san contract bi eneya agi bibia na problem e bai ti kan buti mama akwahwe kura da masamba ka me ni beje ho pa.
Oh, men worry. The person will treatment no. And so your facility wa ha be bo na new business partners na ye meeting.
Me da mo say. And hospital kwa na mo yi. Awon na ye juma me ni mo ka say. O peto ko hospital me kanfo Banahin Specialist Hospital. Ko they are ready to help you. Baba.
We are still on Era One Radio. We are broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube, and also Modern Ghana Radio. Before the break, Dr. Opoku Agyeman was wowing me with a story of how some people can drive without their driver's licenses. Please, if you do that, if you don't have a driver's license, which means you are not even qualified to sit behind the wheels, and you might be involved in an accident, on that case, the good thing is you can go to Banahin Hospital and get them treat you. But at the same time, you would have put the lives of other people in jeopardy. So please, that is why we are sounding the trumpet tonight, that there are causes of accidents. There are things that cause accidents. So please, let's refrain from that. That's why we're giving this education tonight. And I want us to enter into the inadequate signs and road signs. I mean, inadequate road signs on the road. I'm sure Doc must have experienced many, because I know he was in Ghana, he was an observer as a researcher, looking at all that was, being displayed. And as a research student or, a PhD, holder. He knows what information will go into a research or anything for that matter. And so I think we've done something about road signs. And so at this juncture, I want him to re-educate us on the road signs, the way he saw it, the first-hand experience of what prevails on the road, whether the drivers are obeying those signs, they are just driving anyhow, they just want to rush and go to their next station, their destination, get their money and come back and load. All they're thinking about is the money, and not the safety of the people. Because public health, we are so concerned about the lives of people. If you're a driver and you kill 10, 20 people, that's a public health issue. So that's what we're discussing today. So Doc, walk us through the signs, inadequate road signs on the road, even as you observe them and the way they were being responded to by drivers, and also especially those who are not qualified but still manage to drive people.
Yeah, the first thing I will talk about is the road ramps.
Okay.
It is actually interesting that people have seen the need for the ramps in all the roads. I was driving towards Nyinahini, and I saw the ramps. The ramps are so huge that if you don't take care, you break your spring when you're
axle.
And then you see they build the ramps, and in some of them, in any spot where there's ramp, the road is so bad, terribly bad, that when you reach there and you are coming the ramp, your car will be shaking as if there's an earthquake over there. So I think I want to remind the road safety committee to look at those things. It's RAM. If they talk about RAM, it's supposed to be RAM, not a broken road with some things in it that is more unsafe even to drive over it. I want to emphasize on this. The ramps are so dangerous that it should be built well. It should have a sizable build, because drivers going on that road can identify the ramps and slow down. The bigger it is does not give you the idea that it's so big, so stop. That's not it. What about somebody who doesn't know and is driving over there? So they have to build the ramps in a standard format so it will not cause any accident. Besides that, I know any ramp that is on the road should have a sign, maybe about 30 feet from the ramp. So any driver going will be able to see that there's a ramp on the road. But this is not the case. In Ghana, the sign is right on top of where the ramp is.
So it will be too late to even realize.
You see the sign, you see the ramp. I think that's not the right way. If they need public health advice to do this thing well. Besides that, you asked me of signs. A lot of places have some signs. In Accra, the signs are very dead. They are readily available at almost every part that you go. And the lines on the road are also there. But when you come to Kumasi, that's not the case. You come to Kumasi, almost all the roads have no lines. So the drivers are using their own imagination to drive. And it makes it more terrible, because when you're driving in the night without that kind of lines, you might even enter into a ditch and then have a problem in the night. It makes the driving in Kumasi more terrible. Who is going right? Who is going left? Who is standing at the corner of out of the yellow line? It's not there. So the city must also take this into consideration. Because of that, people are driving anyhow. There's no line that divides the road into two. So you can drive in the middle of the road. Some people drive at the corner of the road. And this is bringing me to the three new cars in the city that I want to talk about. When you look at a car like Prakia, is that a Prakia? I think that the Prakia is a three-wheel motor with a cover that at least three people can sit at the back, with the motor rider driving them across the place. Yeah.
Easy access.
These guys do not obey anything in the town. They drive according to their own intellect. But surprisingly, they are the group that do not have license to use the road. I will tell you that there are many in Kumasi particularly Tafu area.
Are those cars manufactured in Ghana or they are imported?
No, they come from India. They are
okay.
products from India. I think now Ghanaians are trying to build it themselves over there. But they all come from India. And when you look at the India picture, the way they use in India, they follow the rules there. They drive on their own road. They don't bump into any other road to cause any accident. But when they come to Ghana, since we have two roads, and then the two are going and coming roads, these guys will not be in that line. They want to be in the middle and drive in the middle, hitting cars, hitting people who are crossing the road, hitting people's car. And sometimes when something happens to them, they get angry and they start fighting the other drivers. This is the reason why I'm proposing that the country, the Ghana, particularly the cities, they should be empowered to use traffic rules in order to generate money for the cities. If the cities are empowered with the rules and the law and rules in the driving system, they'll be able to generate money. Because these Prakia people, they don't follow anything. And if any time that they meet a police, I was following one car when they met a policeman. What I saw was that the guy just put money and gave it to the policeman. Should also help us. We know how policing is in Ghana because your IGP demonstrated this thing in the first 3 months of his IGPship.
Mm-hmm.
And everything was going on smoothly in Ghana. So right now that they have left what the IGP set it for them, they've gone back to where they are. Please, they should also refrain from taking money from wrong drivers because the wrong drivers who pay them money cause accidents and cause damage to the country.
Doc, from what we are saying, it looks as if there is different ministers of roads and highways or whatever in one city or one region, and there's different from other regions. Because if it's a national thing and roads are being, signs and stuff are being obeyed in, let's say, Accra, and in Kumasi, like you are saying, they just nonchalant, they don't care, then that is pathetic. And it looks as if there's so much condoning and conniving in the system. I mean, the people who are supposed to enact the laws are not following them. They are just collecting money for their stomach's sake. We are not bashing anybody here, but this is a form of education because we have to help ourselves. In this country, you can't even collect bribe. I have never been stopped by a policeman or anything that you would even attempt to bribe him or her. You will go to jail. And so for somebody to leave and say, okay, wifey, I'm going to work, only to find out that this Praga driver doesn't have the required documents or this driver doesn't even have a license, and you just stretch your hands calmly and you take something, you condone and you connive and you let the driver go and kill people, it's pathetic. I mean, we see some of these videos on Facebook, YouTube, about policemen from other countries, some countries, that, he will stop the driver and say, my friend, do the do. And the driver will say, what am I supposed to do? You mean my papers? This is my papers. He said, no, not the papers, do the do. And what they want is what they want you to just grease their palm. You are condoning and conniving. You are the one that is going to let people die. Because instead of checking the driver, making sure he has all the qualification and not driving to go and kill people, you won't. I mean, I took my vehicle for just a state inspection and it failed because a few bolts were not intact. And I had to make sure those were there before it passed. And you can't bribe anybody. You can't even bribe the mechanic that, okay, Charlie, let me give you some so you fix it. No, they won't do it. You have to do what is right. So when the car is on the road, it's considered roadworthy. And they have the sticker that shows that you did your inspection this day. It's legit to go. The next day, you have to do it again. That is pathetic. Now, let's come to the MTTU personnel. Now, this is where we have to come to the people who are required to ensure that these drivers have the requisite documents, license before they go, as well as those on the road. We are not saying all the policemen on the road are the same or they do the same thing. No, there are some good ones, but there are some who are tarnishing the image of the whole entity, who will not even check anything, just give me my chop money and let me go and chill. Now let's talk about the MTT. How do we educate those people to do their job? Of course, they know it. So why do they even go around the system and allow people to do the wrong thing and go and kill, and all they want is money? Who is supposed to check these people?
Yeah, you see, let me just correct one thing that we just said just now. You see, the road inspection is there. the road inspection is there. They go and pay the money, and then they give you a receipt that your car is inspected. Whereas the necessary thing that they need to do about the car is not done. But when you come to the MTU, you are talking about a very different set of the police section, the police department, who are mainly concerned with road and driving and roads. I think we all know that when Dr. Dampare came, the first 3 months, he demonstrated a wealthy policemanship, which covered almost all the departments of the police, driving, crime, and all kinds of things. Why have they buried that thing? Why can't they continue to do what Dampare exposed the whole Ghana police to?
You know, some people don't like correction, and if you do your job, they say you are too low, and they even advocate for you to be removed. I have even heard several instances where some people are advocating for Dampare to be removed because otherwise then MPP won't win power or something. This is just, bizarre statements. Anyway, go ahead, sir.
So when you look at the way all the policemen are doing, the citizens should be educated, and then the policemen should also be educated. And as I told you, the regional council can initiate driving rules that should attract some kind of offenses that will generate money for them. I kept on saying this because the few people, every driver who drives from Kumasi in Accra might have 1 or 2 mistakes that should attract some kind of fine, because they won't follow the rules and they will drive the way they want it. They would stop anywhere they want to stop. They will pick people at anywhere they want to pick. And when the car is spoiled, they will leave it there and go. The policeman will come and say, here when the car is stopped by the road, the policeman has to stand there until the car is removed, if it is in the center. No, nothing is this sort is happening there. When the car stops anywhere and is spoiled, the driver will put some leaves behind it and leave the car there. So that makes it very difficult for them. But I also think that the police, the size of the police, the MTTU staff is also very small to accommodate all these kinds of problems. But I believe that as long as the MTTU unit is there, the unit should be able to embrace all the laws that have been given to them, and they should be able to control cars. They should be able to control cars and make sure that all that those who offend, they send them to court for fine and get the money for the region. It is not what they are doing. They are not doing the right thing now, because Dampare has given us the example of what they have to do. And now everybody knows the police can do that in Ghana because they did it in the first 3 months of Dampare's office. Why can't they continue to do this thing for the road? Because then they want to wait until accident comes. It's very pathetic to see all this happening in the country. So when you talk about the MPU people, I will not deny the fact that they are not there. They are there, but their function has been either broken by some people, or their function has been taken away. I don't know. I cannot even describe why they are not functioning as they should be.
All right, let me play my jingle real quick, and after that we'll come and talk about speeding, which is also another issue. Well, you are still tuned into Era One Radio. We are broadcasting our Saturday program, which is Health is Well Protected. And I have Dr. Enesopoko Ajima in the studio with me. My name is Charles Boyson, and we are discussing road signs and regulations with a reflection on driving in Ghana with somebody who has just, had a first-hand experience. Is what it means to drive on our roads. Of course, we had discussed this topic at length previously in one of our sessions, and so he, having been there and having the experience, makes the discussion very practical. Now, we did also say that speeding is one of the which cuts across nations, not limited to Ghana, Nigeria, US, Canada. It's speeding is speeding. Wherever you go, is speeding. There are set rules for speeding. Here, there are so many rules, even on a freeway, that if you go above 70, you are considered as speeding. If you get to 80, they will give you a ticket for reckless driving or whatnot. If you go above 90, as for your case, we can't deal it. But then when you go to a place like Germany, places where I think they call it Autobahn or something, where my brother was telling me you can drive 140 on the freeway and it's like you're good to go. So when we talk about speeding, which means it's limited to a certain geographical location or nation or whatever. So the rules that pertain to that place is what we're going to go by. Let's say Ghana can say our speed limit is 80, US may say 70, whatever it is. But then speeding is speeding. Once you go above the set point or limit, you are considered, a liability to the road. So, Doc, let's talk about speeding. In your experience, how does it, flow over there? Are our drivers obeying the speed limit, or they do the contemporary? Some drivers are considered good when they can go quickly, drop the passengers and come back and pick again because he can speed. Let's talk about speeding now.
If you talk about around Kumasi, I will tell you that speeding is not considered there at all because of the congestion. So they can't speed.
You can't speed. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the roads are not worthy to speed because of that big ramps there. And then the second thing is that because of the congestion, it's very hard to speed around Kumasi. You can't do that.
So one problem leads to a good thing. The congestion has led to lack of speeding.
So, no, but that does not resolve issues there too. Without speed or speeding, they incur in accidents. But when you're riding on the highways, there are some speed over there. But like what you were saying, the road signs are not found on the road. You cannot see anywhere that you can see that drive 40 miles per hour here. There's in Accra, in certain places there. But when you come to the highways, all the signs, possibly I don't know who has taken them away. You can't find them. And then some of them too may be found in the woody place. The weeds have covered it and you can see it well. So those are the things I saw whilst I was driving on the highways. And also whilst I was driving some of the buses traveling along the city and in town.
Well, there is something we call education in driving. Everybody needs to be educated. If you're a passenger, you have to know certain rights or things that are allowed even in driving. Of course, if your driver is overspeeding or he's doing what is not supposed to and you know it, you should be able to voice it. But some people don't care. I just want to get to my destination, so driver, just take me there. Driver education, lack of education is very important. And you did mention where some drivers don't even have driver's licenses and they still can drive, violating the rules. In this case, how do we bring education to the masses, whether you're a driver or not? I mean, I know there are regulations set to make sure that you own or you qualify to have a license before you can drive. But still, people flout the laws. How do we educate on stuff like that? I wish you had taken the time to go to the stations and go and talk to them and give them a presentation or something.
Okay, let me take you through the Prakia and the Abubuya and the Okadas session. Those are the areas that I want the police to take a serious notice because those are motorbikes. People think that you can drive or ride it without license. These motorbikes are registered, but the motorbike is registered, but the person in the motorbike riding it is not registered. He has no license to drive. You see them, this 10, 18-year boys and 19-year boys driving them. And the way they drive them, I want to suggest something, if you give me the permission.
Okay.
I think this prakia and other things have come to stay. So the road wealthy, the road wealthy people should educate them, educate them, teach them how to drive in the city so that they will not cause accidents. They should let them know how to drive in a lane and where to stop and then where to park. If they don't do that, the prakia people, according to what I heard, have caused a whole lot of accidents last year. I think the leading cause of accident with injury last year. So if they want it to continue, then the road quality people should refrain from doing this education to them. They should not wait until they get into an accident before they talk to them. Recently I was told they should not ride in the city, they should not go anywhere. I think the major thing is to educate them. It is not a question of forcing them. It is a question of educating them to let them understand the way they have to ride the tricycle in the cities. It is very helpful, and it helps to convey a lot of baggages from other places to other places, and people will enjoy using it. So if the people enjoy using it, like India, they set a rules for them. So when they make a mistake, then you find them. If you don't set rules for them and you start talking politically, you are doing practically nothing to help them. So I believe that if the government really wants to maintain a good record of these prakia people, the main thing that they need to do is to get educated and then give them laws. So when they disobey the laws, then you find them. Secondly, these people have also, the taxi people are losing their jobs to the prakia people. So it has become very competitive here. All of them need some kind of education. And let me go back to the prakia people. If you educate them, you give them license. Don't educate them and leave them alone. Anybody who rides on either prakia, I know the prakia are sure that they were all registered to the city council or whether the government. I don't know. I know that they have numbers. The Aboboya needs to be registered. And then I don't think the government should encourage Okada in the cities. As for Okada, I believe it should not be in the cities because of trustworthiness. If they use Okada, which is a motorbike, for taxis in the cities, the tendency of stealing and killing will not stop. So please, the government, if it wants to stop any of these three things, it is the Okada that needs to be stopped.
This is where they can just meander through various vehicles and just, by virtue of their small size, they can just enter and go quickly and faster.
Even when they pick you and you have money, they can take you anywhere and do whatever they want to do with you. So I don't think they should encourage the Okada in the cities. If in the rural communities, I went to areas like Bayirabon and a place like Yamuasi, rural community areas in the Yamuasi area and Ofisu area, the rural areas, they were using Okada to help people there. Again, I would discourage Okada. I would rather encourage Aboboya or Prakia to do the work that Okada is doing over there. Even though these guys are not causing any harm to their passengers, I still don't trust them because one person in one motorbike or two persons in one motorbike, anything can happen. If any accident happens on the road, nobody cares about them. They will die there. So I believe those things should not be allowed to. We don't have to follow any other country who is doing that in Ghana. Ghana is more polite and Ghana is more educated people. So don't let us follow the multitude to do evil.
Thank you very much, Doc. Well, we're still discussing road signs and regulations and a reflection on driving in Ghana. There's this thing I believe that anybody can die from old age. We are all destined to die in old age when it gets to that time. that is inevitable. That may be dying from a disease that is cannot be controlled. It's you are permitted to die that way. But then to die from a motor vehicle accident is something that can be prevented. Because if you have a good driver who obeys all the rules, the road signs, and everything that is supposed to be obeyed, they can prolong life. So that is why we're discussing that as a public health issue. We have to be very cautious of some of these things. We can prevent motor vehicle accidents. Those are very possible that we can do. When it comes to disease and old age, we don't have too much control. So the things that we have control over, we should be able to take good care of them, of ourselves, and how to prevent them. All right, I think I lost Dr. Ernest a second ago. So what I will do is I'll just do a commercial, and then when we come back, we'll continue from there.
Hello, beautiful people of Ghana. This is Banahine Specialist Hospital. We are so excited to announce to our people Ghana that we are finally opened and we are accepting patients. At Banahine Specialist Hospital, our extraordinary physicians and nurses are here to provide a high quality medical service to our extraordinary patients. Our services include primary care services, maternal, neonatal, and pediatric services. We also have an in-house pharmacy. We have x-ray and laboratory services available to you. Come to us for all your healthcare needs and you will be happy you did, because we believe the health is wealth. Thank you and stay blessed.
Yeah, I think Dr. Ernest will be joining us. All right, Doc, you're back. All right.
Yes, sir.
So, well, we have a few minutes to go. Let's talk about drunkenness. Drunkenness can also be a problem when it comes to one of the causative, problems or sources to accidents. Back in the days, they used to have a kiosk where these ladies sell drinks, application and stuff, even in the lorry total station. And as I keep reflecting, I say, why would they sell application in a lorry station? I mean, station where vehicles park to pick up or load passengers to long distance like Kumasi, Koforidua, Cape Coast, and all that stuff. Do we still have these kiosks in the loading station, or are they out? And if they are, what is the trend of accidents in terms of drivers who are drunk while driving? What is the state?
Yeah, the point here is driving and drunkenness was something that I did not encounter any over there.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, but I believe police were cautious about those things. And then the road safety educators were talking about it. So I don't think people drive whilst drunk in Ghana now. What is very important is the way they do with their things in driving is something that is very important. That needs to be
I think you're in a very dark corner.
Yes, I'm in trouble now. This thing is dead.
All right, let me take a break whilst we fix that.
Wasuwa mani suwa for sunga day. Aden Urufiana. Say to me, man, any of me, man, any about Aden, I was so Aden me ba, Aden craft. Hey, I was any that's what's any that's so, any that's so, any that's on Sakra, any that's so, oh, any that's on Sayo. Any that's so, hey, I'm in Subi, any that's so, any that's so, any that's so, oh, my dear, oh, I do, get to see, any that's so, Ana muni padia onse Eden krona mu befra Wonwenwe mo kra onse Eden na bedi ana ye benom Ana muni padia onse Eden krona mu befra Okransi na duane Nani padia nsintumana Aden mi ba Aden kra Na ya usani da suasa Okransi na duane Nani pabian saint to mana Aden me ba Aden cra Daya usani da suasa Onche wiye munuma Se wono na wampam Tu awuradi ma wodidi me Tu
Right, it's almost been o'clock and we have to wrap up. But I think Dr. Ernest was giving us some information about the drunkenness, and then maybe we can talk about, he can close it with the road rage, and then we'll be calling it a night. Doc.
Okay, let me just say a little bit about drunkenness. It is true that people drink. But what I saw in Ghana is that drivers drink when they have closed from work.
Okay.
They go to relaxation points, relax themselves there with some kind of what do you call a confirm and
up here.
Guinness, and sometimes if you go to see them relaxing, you enjoy it so much.
Wow, it's admirable, huh?
Oh yes. See them singing, watching football, and talking about what happened in the past day, and people be laughing over some things, and it's so interesting to see them rejoicing like that way.
That's good.
But I mean, in other words, if you want me to give the summary of all that we have said now, let me just quickly touch on these things. There are three motorbikes that run in the cities. I know the cities have taken some regulations and limit them from coming to the central city. Yeah, that is one of the things that they can do. But I believe they have to train them. They have to train them and give them regulations of driving, and also enforce each rider to have a license. If they have license and they are trained, they will drive carefully on the road, and they will prevent a lot of accidents that are occurring in the cities. The way these guys ride their bicycles are very, very, very dangerous. They can cut into cars in front. They can ride in the middle of the road. They can ride at the side of the road. And it makes it very difficult for drivers to drive. They keep on scratching people's car. When they scratch your car, all that they can tell you, I'm sorry, and and then they go away. I was surprised they scratched my car twice. And the way they came and talked to me, I got angry and said, look, if I take you to the police station, nothing will happen. You go your way. So I left them and they left. But my point is, they have to train them. They have to give them regulations. Any offended person should be fined. They should do the same thing to all the drivers in the cities. They have left the drivers free to ride their cars, to ride their the tricycles, and do whatever they can in the city. And that's why the city is not generating money. There are a lot of money from these people that we can get from them. Let them tax them. So if they don't vote for you, you have put that law there. The next government will not take that law away. He will continue with that law. So that is one thing that you have to look at.
No, before I forget, the area of tolls. I know the tolls were scrapped away. I don't know whether those who were collecting were consuming the money or what. I don't know why they stopped it. But I thought, collecting the tolls like we do here, that income generated could be used to even fix the roads or make life better. So why was it scrapped? And do you think it's something they can bring back? Is it a good thing?
Yeah, I think it was more political. Ghana, everything is politics. If Ghanaians do not do away with politics, the country will be stand still as it is now. Because everybody comes there, anything that is happening in the country is politicized. If they politicize things, they will not develop. This tool that we are talking about, people were taking the money because it was not by the government who is in place now. It was done by the previous government, and the employees over there were the previous government. So that's what I heard. And the money was taken away. They were not putting the money into the coffers. And I tell you, those guys sitting at the toll were thieves. I was driving to my village, and when I reached one of the toll, they gave me a ticket. And you may be surprised that there was nothing on that paper. They gave me empty paper.
Blank paper.
Blank paper. And I confronted the guy. I said, look, man, the paper you gave it to me does not reflect the money I've paid to you. So why should you give me that blank paper? He said, man, you guys, and I know that you guys who come from there. Then he gave me the ticket. So you see what they would do. If I was the only person, if they took the money from me alone by giving me the blank paper, these drivers who are going to and fro, they are not careful. They are not careful. All that when they pay, they take the throw in their account. They don't even look at the ticket. So the people who are sitting at the toll gate were making money for themselves instead of the government. And this did not reflect on the roads because there was no money coming from them. Nobody was checking them, and nobody was also trying to report them. And they kept on doing that until this government says no. I think they can improve upon it. They can use, they can electrolyze it and sell the cattle to people to use it so that the toll could be brought back, other than allowing somebody to go and sit there and make use of the money.
All right, thank you very much, Doc. On that note, we'll bring our discussion to a close tonight. It's 7:05, and we took 5 extra minutes. Thank you for your summary, for allowing yourself to be used tonight. Thank you for bringing us education and then your first-hand experience. I mean, I know if we discussed it at length some time back, but then you experiencing the first-hand experience of what it pertains over there and sharing with us is really awesome. Thank you very much. Well, listeners, this is where we bring our discussion to a close. On behalf of our studio manager, Dr. Setitu, and their one team, I want to thank Dr. Enesopoko Ejima again, my co-host, for making this broadcast possible. You can go back to our one on Facebook and YouTube, and you can pull the broadcast and watch again, especially if you're in Ghana. You want to listen to this, and advise yourself. It is imperative that you know the road signs and adhere to the rules of driving. Please, if you are eating something that is not good for your body, you're going to die. In the same way, if you are not applying the rules of driving, you are harming yourself, and especially those in your care. If you drive a bus that has a capacity of, let's say, 46, 47, 50, 100, these lives have been entrusted into your hand. So if you drive carelessly and you kill them, guess what? You are giving tears to other people, other families. So let's all be cautious, obey the rules, drive very well. When it says stop, please stop. Stop doesn't mean, pause and keep pressing on the gas gradually. Stop means stop. If it's ready to go, as soon as you see the yellow, we all do it. But then if you see the yellow, just stop, begin to stop. And then it's green, you have all the way. Some of these little steps that we obey in life will save us. It will take us a long way. Some of these are not just, these are not prayer gimmicks. You don't need to, do all this, just obey simple rules, and all of us will enjoy life and grow older. It is not magic. It is simply obeying the rules of the law. Thank you very much, Doc. We'll see you again next week if you're available, and we'll continue from there. Have a good evening, and thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right.
Atafara didi
Say na me no di wachinti Ori anyone and yarewo
Isimeni yarewo
Adena Wasuwa manisuwa kosunyade
Aden urure fiana
Say otumi manya eni
aba
Adena wasuwa manisuwa kosunyade
Aden meba Aden kura
Eya useni daswasa
Eni daso
Eni daso
Eni daso kura
Eni daso
Oh eni daso yo
Eni daso
Eya mensubi
Eni daso
Eni daso
Eni daso
Oh, I'm ready, oh, I do.